I mean, there's a whole list of things that could go wrong with starting a peptide business.
Where you don't have to be changing your pricing to compete with other brands.
Like if someone were to come after my business, what would that look like? I chose to leave my affiliate marketing program. I would recommend peptides to honestly anyone.
It's actually against the terms of service on Facebook to promote peptide companies. The way that you go about that is we are going to be introducing Elijah, a brand new client who just started working with our consulting agency. Please just give a full rundown of who you are, why you started your peptide company, and just a little background on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a personal trainer. Most of my clients are 45 and most of them are women. And a lot of them have been asking me about peptides. And so I figured it'd be really profitable if I created my own peptide brand, specifically targeting women. And I think it would be a great thing to go along with my personal training.
All right, and then regarding your coaching business right now, what would you say like the demographic of who you're coaching?
Yeah, so I mean, mostly women over 45. That's why I kind of wanted this brand to be similar to the ideal demographic, so I can have outside women over 45 buy my peptides and also my current clients.
Awesome. Okay, so what was like the main reason why you wanted to start your own brand versus promoting somebody else's? Because a lot of fitness coaches out there are promoting other brands for affiliate links and taking a percentage versus actually running the whole business. Just break that down to me.
Yeah, for sure. I've been always a person to want to work for myself. Not only that, I would rather take 100% of the commission rather than 20%. And also I have my own vision for what I want with my company, and I think that I wouldn't be able to fulfill that if I was just working for someone else.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like that. That's a great way to go about it.
Yeah.
What would you say your biggest fear about starting a peptide company was before you started working with us?
Oh boy, a lot of them. I mean, I didn't know what payment processor to use. I didn't know how to market my business. I didn't know not how to get shut down. A whole list of things that could go wrong with starting a peptide business. I think.
Cool. And I guess after, we kind of broke it down to you, where do you lie within a spectrum to say, in the beginning I was super aware of the issues versus all the way to like where you're at now? Where would you say you lie in?
It's so much more clear. Obviously it's hard to say because I'm still in the beginning stages, but I can confidently say that once I'm at the end and once I hit that 40, 50K a month, that these guys are really gonna help me.
Okay, so based on the fact that you have your current clients right now that are 40, 45 years old, predominantly women, based on that profile that we've already created, I want to go very in depth with who that person is and let's build an actual brand around them. So we've already came up with your name, which is going to be Sculpta Labs, utilizing a color palette that's going to be anywhere from like a purple violet tint to, I would say pinkish, using those colors, and then break down why we chose that color.
Yeah, we really chose that color palette because obviously it's very clear that we speak to women. So if we chose just a generic blue or an orange, that could be targeting to anyone, just any generic peptide brand. But using those colors, especially purple and pink, lavenderish, they really speak to women. I know if I were a woman and I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, no, I want that one versus the blue one.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing to identify right in the beginning when we were starting to build your brand was making sure that the company speaks to that specific person. So with your brand in specific, we were targeting that 40, 45-year-old, mid-age, higher disposable income client, and building the brand with the exact name, with the color palette is all gonna condense into one specific brand, which is what we have so far. So I think that's really great. I think we really wanna compare this and just so you can get a clear understanding of the why behind we did everything. So for example, Nike, right? They have their typical colors, which would be like a black, a gray, the white, but the one defining color that showcases that it's them is the orange label, like a lot of people see. Right. And for your brand in specific, I think having our purple to that pink violet, we'll find a color in between there and put that on the vial to show your defining color scheme.
Absolutely.
So I would say we had already decided that we'd use certain colors, right? We'd stick with the one specific color for all the labels, right?
Yeah.
That was one we had, and we'll use that color as I think the defining for the whole brand.
Yeah.
So we have that locked down. And another thing to add on to that is for peptides, and I know we've talked about this a handful, was really making sure that the positioning of your brand is put in such a way where you don't have to be changing your pricing to compete with other brands.
Right.
You're positioned in such a way where you already have your clientele from your business, and they're going to this separate brand promoted by you, where you don't have to lower your prices because of how premium we've built everything up.
We have the highest quality.
Yeah, highest quality.
We don't need any discounts. We don't need any of that. This is how it is, like Gucci. You know, they don't give discounts. They give a very exclusive look into their brand, and I think that's what really helped me, or that's what's going to help me do well.
Yeah, absolutely. And on another way to compare it to, and we also had said this multiple times, is if you look at H&M for a $15 to $20 T-shirt versus another company like a Louis Vuitton where it's a $300 to $400 T-shirt, why is Louis Vuitton and H&M both able to have their own success? And the way you can break it down is the positioning of the brand. Peptide in and of itself is a huge industry. And so people are always going to have a lower price because the cost of goods is so low. And making sure that your brand is put in a premium way is going to be able to give you success long term. So I think that's really great. We have that locked down. So another thing that we can add on top of that is, I know from your background, you were already promoting a peptide company before doing this. What was like the main reason why you chose to work with them? And what do you think was the reason why a lot of other affiliates in the similar position as you chose certain brands?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a lot easier. Within starting any business, there's a lot of stress. Being an entrepreneur is very difficult, and so you don't really have to deal with that stress when you make commission off of someone else's brand. But for me, I wanted that stress. You know, I wanted my own vision for the company. I wanted my own brand. And so that was really important to me, obviously, and so that's why I chose to leave my affiliate marketing program and to work with these guys. And so I would recommend, obviously, anyone to do the same. If you're on the fence whether you should start a brand or you should just keep making okay money from affiliate marketing, I would always say go with your own brand, go with your own vision.
And just to put a number behind it, before when you were promoting the other business, what was like your monthly income per se from those affiliate commissions?
Well, it wasn't nearly as much as I could scale with a peptide company because obviously with affiliate marketing, you make 20% of the commission, not 100%. And when you sell and when you have your own brand, you make 100% of it. Obviously, you have inventory costs, you have other expenses, but that's what comes with running a business.
Yeah.
So you're really keeping most of it at the end of the day. So it's nothing near.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess going back to the determining factor for why you worked with that brand, were there other companies that were coming to you in the beginning when you decided to promote that business? Was it just your friend? Where were you at in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, I got approached by a few peptide companies because I was posting about peptides even before I started making money off of it. I was posting it because I genuinely thought, and I genuinely still think, that they change lives. Right, I would recommend peptides to honestly anyone. You know, if you've done your research, if you feel like this is right for you, then 100% take peptides. I think they're a great thing. And so obviously I got approached by a few peptide companies, but I was close with the owner, and so that's why I chose to work with that company versus any other company, basically. Yeah.
And what were they paying you on percentage?
20% commission.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I think when we look at your affiliate marketing for your company, we need to see what went right and what went wrong. So you felt like that, you didn't have a lot of effect to that business. You were just promoting them, right?
Right.
And the way that we can change your business versus, doing what they were doing wrong and change it for you is giving your affiliates some power per se, right? You want them to also have impact into the business, or it just feels like there's a job. You know what I mean? So for your company in specific, we want to identify who that target market is. We already say it's 40, 45-year-old women. That's very narrow, and I think that's great. So we need to see who is actually going to be influencing that crowd. So I think something really important for you to do is say, put yourself in that shoe, right? So you're that woman. Where are they looking right now? They came to you, so they're working with you. So maybe it's other people in your similar position. And what exactly is influencing them so that you can find the affiliates in that category, pull them out, reach out to them, and actually offer them specific affiliate deals. You can offer them the 20%. Maybe is it more? Is it more because you're just starting, or is it more because you want them to feel like influenced and a reason to actually promote your brand? I think one of the really cool things that you should do for sure is having somewhat of a PR package per se for your brand.
Yeah.
So, there's a good example that I saw, Liquid IV, which is a supplement company, I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
They send a lot of their affiliates a custom PR box that is a really cool experience. You're opening the box and the people are already filming it, right? So when you ship off the PR box to that person, you want them to feel like a really cool experience that they can post on Instagram, on social media, so that they're already naturally promoting you without you having to tell them to. You want them to feel like they're a part of the brand. That's why Young LA, that's why Gymshark is so good, because they have made and cultivated a really solid group of affiliates. So for you specifically, I think we need to put together like a custom package that we send off to the actual affiliates and give them a reason to post. You know, let's say it's for me, for example. In that box, you say, you'll have the peptides, you send them maybe for free, maybe it's a discounted price. And when you open it, they have something to post, right? That opening box, maybe it says Austin, maybe it's a handwritten note by you. And that experience, putting, you know, maybe some confetti in there, something interesting for them to post that I see no other brands doing. So that's a cool way to differentiate yourself. That in and of itself will give people reason to post your brand. It also encourages them to stick with you long term. There's a huge, I think, reason right now that affiliates are not as good as what they used to be because there's so many out there, right? If you're going to me and saying, Austin, I'm gonna give you 50% just to promote peptides, and James's company says, I'll give you 50% too, why am I gonna choose either or? I have to resonate with you. I have to resonate with the brand, and you wanna have something in that whole package that gives them a reason to say yes. Right. So for your brand in specific, I think that's a really cool way for you to define yourself.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, think about it. Why do you buy a Chanel bag or a Gucci bag versus the Coach bag or another brand?
Another cool aspect, you know, so Apple experience, opening the box, the way that Steve Jobs made that, you know, when you lift it up, it's not sticking, it's going smooth.
It's the unboxing, it's the whole premium experience. Yeah. So I think that plays into a lot of part of it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that'll be a really, really cool aspect for you.
Yeah.
I do really think that you should do that. I think I was just came up on the spot, and I've actually seen nobody doing that. So
yeah, that's a good
idea.
Definitely
do that. Okay, a little into the legal framework of your business, just for the audience. Where are you based out of, state and city, and what have you done or what have you not done yet regarding like the legal side of setting up your LLC, setting up the business and stuff?
So Austin and James are really doing a good job of helping me navigate everything legally. So they're helping me with the LLC, they're helping me with marketing the brand on how I don't get shut down. Their marketing skills are just absolutely amazing when it comes to peptides, when it comes to e-commerce. They're very experienced, and so they know what works, they know what doesn't. I'm gonna leave it as simple as that. Yeah.
I think that's a good way. And then for your LLC, you're based out of what state?
I'm based out of California.
City?
Yeah. I'm based out of Los Angeles as well.
Los Angeles, California. So you need to set up your LLC in California, which we already have. You've seen the modules on that. So we'll get you set up on LegalZoom. You'll put in your LLC paperwork. You'll pull your EIN, which will get you set up on that as well. After you get your EIN, we need to get you set up for a business bank account. So the business bank account is going to be at some of the top banks. Try Chase, try Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Some of them you may or may not get shut down. I've seen Bank of America be the best success recently for peptide businesses. So that's certainly a to-do kind of off video. And then after that, then we can get you connected with the payment processor and all be good after that. Another thing to add on to that with the legal side, we already talked about affiliate marketing. So with the affiliate marketing, it's important that you set a very clear outline plan for your affiliates. Yes, you want to give them some creative freedom because that's the role that you hired them for. They're a creative influencer. However, having your contracts in place, which we'll give you as well, just like a template per se to, you can't say this, you can't say that. But even if they did off video or on video, it's not going to affect your brand, and the FDA can't come after you because you're not legally responsible for what they say.
Right.
So that for your legal side will be good, and you'll have the groundwork very laid out so that you'll be set in case anything were to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
I think that's the most important.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're doing something illegal and your business gets shut down, it's all for nothing.
Exactly. So and with your website too, we'll have everything built into there, and I'll show you as well for the compliance side. Research only, not for human consumption, and our marketing tactics aren't actually going to say they're for human consumption. It's really important. That's what's going to set you apart and long term so that you aren't prone to any shutdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think also with the new 2028 coming, with the new presidency coming in, there could be some things, regardless of who gets elected, that might affect the legal framework of everything. So if you're set up in a place where You don't have to worry about that because you've done everything the right way. That's going to be able to set you apart long term. So
Yeah,
how about that? Cool. Okay, so we have a special surprise. I'm going to be showcasing the actual website. First time for Elijah to see. We haven't opened it yet, but this is pretty much how we did it. So the reason why we decided to go about the branding like this was exactly the positioning that we had already talked about. So high quality, premium, utilizing Apple in a way to be for reference. So the reason why the opening layout for the website has a singular vial with one call to action is exactly kind of how you had shown. So
yeah, dude, this is nice.
yeah, we'll walk through the reasoning. So the first page, we have NAD on here. We can change this. I have this just on there as a template. So if you want Retta on the first page, we can do that. If you want anything else, GHK, whatever we think, I honestly think GHK for you might be the best one, but Retta as well. When we go to the actual shop page, it fully lines out the actual products that are available, and they are categorized in a way that isn't illegal, and it is put in a place for you to be positioned in the right way. So the full lineup, these are the 17 different peptides that you and I had come up with just to fit your budget and also exactly what we think would fit best for your client. So BPC, Wolverine, we have Wolverine in different sizings, CJC, Retta, all the different sizings in Retta, D, Selenx, Semax, and Testimonial. This is like a very comprehensive, really good starting catalog that I think you'll be able to see success right away. So once we get those ordered, we already have your labels made. We're gonna ship those off to the actual manufacturer to get those labels made for you. Once they come in, we'll label them up, get them ready, and you'll be ready to launch fully.
Sick, bro.
As far as the actual product pages goes, the way that we had set these up, we want to keep it super simple. So one aspect that I took away really from the Apple website, for example, is the use of soft edges. And a lot of people will blow past that really quickly, but the reason why everything is in a pill format psychologically gives no reason for a buyer to click off the page because of harsh edge, like a box you could say, is difficult for someone to see on the eye. And you may not realize that if you don't look into the actual logistics behind it, but brands that have curved edges and almost smooth look tend to see a lot more success than brands that don't. So that's the reason why we have that. And then the actual checkout process. So it opens already with the checkout page open. We can also integrate into here upsells as well, which I think could be useful for you, but we don't want to overdo it. So we want to include things that would be upsold for a stack, right? So Testimonial, you could also have retatrutide in here. So GLP-3 RT said, okay, we also think this would be good for you. And then have that as well for them to easily add to cart and still stay on the same page. So we'll click add to cart, then you go to checkout. On the actual checkout page, super optimized, the exact same format as the Apple website. So they'll check off here, researcher certification, I am at least 21, I'm a qualified researcher, I will not consume. All put in place so that you are safe if anything were to go wrong. Then the actual order summary, we'll have that, and then the pick how you'll pay. So for your case, before we get you set up with the processor, you'll actually still be able to take orders in because you can do manual options. So once you get your bank account, you can do Venmo, you can do Zelle, you can do Cash App, just to get things off the ground. Once the payment processor gets integrated into here, you'll have another avenue for people to pay from. So that's also all built into here as well. So you just have to pick exactly what process, like what your links are. So if it's Sculpta Labs for your Venmo, if it's Sculpta Labs for your Cash App, having that all into here in a similar format where they click, they copy the username, and then they can directly go off and pay you through that. So that's one aspect of it, and then when the processor is connected, they'll be able to do it all on site.
This is a nice website, man. I gotta say, it's the little details that matter.
It's
like the little things, like the sharp edges, the way the website looks. If you want to be good at the big things, you gotta master the small things.
I couldn't say that any better. And I think that's like a perfect way to put it. And really just like having something smooth and easy for someone to really go through your site and have no reason to click off. That's why we do what we do. So hope you're happy with that.
Dude, I love it. Thank you so much,
course,
my
baby.
man.
Yes, sir, baby. All right, so based on after the website and everything that we've kind of talked about on call and actually on video, where do you lie at with questions? Feel free to just kind of rip them at me.
I would say my only question, because Austin, you've been like very specific and just very transparent on everything that there is. So, I don't have a lot of questions, but I would say my biggest question would be just the legality of if someone were to come after my business, what would that look like? Let's say someone got hurt or someone decided to just be an asshole and come after my business, because that's most likely what would happen. What would that look like?
Yeah, so having the separation, which is why we have an LLC in place, separates you, your personal identity, and your personal entity from the business. So LLC separates that. And so if somebody were to come after the business and say, oh, hey, look, I took Reddit and I lost a bunch of weight, but I feel a bunch of side effects. The way that we have everything set up and the actual disclaimers that they have to check off, make sure that you're safe so that they can't say, I had something bad happen to me, but then you go and look at them and say, well, you clicked off here, you weren't gonna actually check out and you weren't gonna consume the product. So you went against what you signed on, and that would keep you safe in worst case scenario if that were to happen. Another barrier that we have set up as well in your actual login page, so since this is already logged in, you can't see it, but on the account page, nobody will actually be able to check out and access anything without making an account. So that is another layer into place that legally we have to have so that if anything were to happen, you're still kept safe. Okay. Does that answer your question, Kevin?
Yeah, cool. That makes sense, yeah. Oh yeah, I actually have one more question. So when it comes to marketing, what is the best way for me to throw myself out there and really market to the public without having too many people to see it? Like, is it affiliate marketing? Is it ads? Is it YouTube videos? Like, what is the best way to really scale this?
Yeah, no, I would 100% say for your case in specific, because you're almost like an odd case and not a lot of people can relate to already having a following on social media. That is a huge defining factor for you. We already have your ICP built into your following base, so we're going to use 100% your Instagram profile to promote the brand. But another lever I think you can pull is 100% affiliates, like we had talked about. And then down the line, once we see success already being built into the company, then we can dive into doing ads. Now, what I can say about ads, and a lot of people won't actually fully understand this, is the fact that given peptides are a high-risk industry, it's actually against the terms of service on Facebook to promote peptide companies. The way that you go about that is using high-risk ad agencies, which we have already built into our program.
Awesome.
And you'll be able to use their ad accounts to promote your actual product. We'll have static images that you'll be able to use. You'll have carousel images as well, videos, kind of just like looking from the other peptide companies that are out there, pulling what's doing well, and then integrating that for you. Typically, it's using AI content. You're just making like a vial rotating, and that's what you can use for an actual image. But I think for you, in your case, we're going to use your personal network that you already have on social media, and then the affiliates, and then really dialing in those people and those initial customers, and then using them to get referrals. That's like the biggest route for you to generate the most amount of money, is making a really strong connection with those people. If that means that you're calling everybody after their order comes in and saying, hey, my name's Elijah, I want to introduce myself, I'm the owner of this company, and I really appreciate you ordering from me, and if there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out to me. That connection with your clients is really what's going to set you apart. Yeah. There's not a lot of brands that are out there doing that, and that gives you another reason to have somebody refer you business. Referrals and trust is really like the biggest lack thereof in peptides. So if you're coming to me and I'm buying from you, and I get a call from the CEO and he says, hey, if you need anything, call me. That makes me feel like, wow, okay, this guy cares about me. Yeah. And another reason for me to actually want to send you business. And if I'm sending you business and somebody that I'm referring trusts me as a person, they want to order from your business because they trust me and I trust you, that's how you really get the snowball effect, keep on going, and what's going to create success without having to dump money into ads. So once we really capitalize on that first network or movement of orders, then you'll be able to start outsourcing the ads. Once we're at that 50, 60K mark, then that's when you can start diving into that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
When it comes to high-risk ad companies, what does that look like? What makes the difference between them and just any other ad company?
Yeah. So really, the best way I can put it is Facebook has an AI built into their software that's going to scan every single ad that goes in. But there are certain ad accounts that are put into place that don't actually get scanned because they've been around for so long, or there've been enough money spent on that ad account or the actual agency. So what this agency ad provider provides you is ad accounts that are verified. So you can use them. You're still going to get them shut down. You're still going to have backups to always pull from. But having an unlimited set of those is what's going to be able to let you, okay, this one's not working. This one got shut down. Let me use a different one. But it's not actually going to get your whole account shut down.
Got you. I got you. Okay. And I guess this is a question that everyone has, but I just want to reaffirm this. What is the best way for your overall Instagram not to be shut down. So that my personal Instagram doesn't get shut down, my company Instagram, and honestly, my website as well.
Yeah. The best way I can put that for you and for really anybody watching is when you set up your Peptide account, Instagram needs, and this is like some sauce for sure, don't include peptides in the name. Don't include peptides in any content that you post. Peptides, the literal name peptides cannot be in there. When you're posting an actual vial image, it needs to be very vague per se. And using the brand, because what we're doing, we're building a brand. We're not selling a product, and that's what I really want to pull your identity out of that. You're building a brand. That's what Nike is. Nike doesn't just post shoes. What do they post? They post people running in their shoes.
Right.
So that's you posting content about peptides without posting a peptide. That's what's going to set you apart. So for your case in specific, we still want to keep it compliant. So for you, it might be a good-looking girl at the gym, maybe with a peptide to the side, or just somebody that looks good. We still want to make sure that it is compliant. So if it's giving any sort of human consumption away, we don't want to use that. So kind of condensing all that into one output is what's going to be able to work for you. So social media, don't use peptides in the name of your company. Don't use peptides in any sort of content. I've gotten my stuff taken down so I can speak firsthand. And then for your personal account, just being very careful about what you post. Don't tell people how much to take. Don't tell anybody that says 10 milligrams of Retta is going to get you this result. You need to be very vague in what you say.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Cool. And another way for you to actually really capitalize in case, worst case scenario, Facebook does shut you down because you get so big, is that when people go on your website, they make an account. You have their email, you have their name, you have their phone number. That set of data is really valuable for even people who are just following you, but actually people that have been to the site, because those are the people with high intent, so that if your account's shut down, you can still use that information to blast email marketing, SMS marketing, and then personally reaching out to them. Say, just want to let you know, my Instagram just got shut down, my Facebook just got shut down. If you want to come check us out, this is either our new account or we actually stepped away from social media, and this is how you can still order from us. So that, pulling that lever and having all that data in your website is really what's going to be super valuable for you.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
All right, just to end this off for you to, deliverables on your end so that you can kind of outline what you need to do next steps. Need to get the LLC formed, which you and I will do together. Okay. We need to identify, the labels. Say, okay, we have the pink or purple we had already pulled out. Order those from the actual, the supplier that we have. I would say for you, finding 3 or 4 affiliates that really resonate with your brand is what's going to be super helpful for you. So picking them out, maybe picking out 10 to 12, reaching out to all, you probably will receive typically it's 30 to 40% response rate. So you pick out 100 people, 40 people are going to respond. So using that same ideology with how many people you reach out to and making sure everyone is exactly what you want them to look like. You can't just be reaching out to 100 fitness influencers if they don't resonate with your brand. So Absolutely. That would say the biggest legwork on your end is going to be with that. And then once you actually get your EIN and business bank account set up, then we can apply for the Venmo account, the Cash App account, the Zelle account, which will be built into your actual bank. And then finally getting all connected with the payment processor, which you already have access to. And to finish off, after everything, it's really important for you to understand we already have the visual identity and exactly what the website's going to look like for you on your end. But we're going to switch everything over. Instead of the platform that we're using right now, we're going to move it over to a brand new platform. For the people who don't know, just invested a ton of money into a custom white label software that is going to be specifically for peptide companies. So your stuff's going to automatically be moved over. You don't have to worry about any of that. And you'll actually be able to see an admin dashboard to keep track of everything. We'll be able to see the actual process from when somebody comes onto your site. What exactly buttons do they press? What do they not press? How do they scroll through your website? Keeping track of all that data is how you're going to be able to scale. And that's really what the 0.111% of businesses are actually doing to succeed. So when you look at Nike and you see an actual ad, you'll look at the actual the website URL that they use. If you go on to an ad, the URL will say UTM tracking. So it's actual tracking to say, okay, this customer came from this ad, this customer came from this person. So for you, in your case, it'll be affiliates. So if I'm an affiliate for you, it'll be sculptalabs.com/Austin/James. So you know it's going to come from them. And then getting really more intricate to see, okay, what IP, where in the world did they come from? And then how are we actually going to use that data to actually benefit you? So that'll be all built into the software. You don't have to worry too much about that. And then email marketing as well built into the software. So we can mass utilize the CRM that's built into the site. and then pull the emos from there and actually mass market on them. So
Okay,
that's
great.
really everything, bro.
Yeah.
I was stoked doing all that with you, and looking forward to everything, my man.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, brother.
Yes, sir, brother.
Yeah.